Hello, and welcome to For Your Innovation, where I sit down with industry experts and leaders to share their business knowledge and insight with startup founders and aspiring entrepreneurs. My name is Ashley Everett, and I am the events producer and marketing manager at RevTech Labs. Today, I'm sitting down with Todd Buelow, principal at DualBoot Partners, which provides an on-demand product design and software engineering, and has the agility to start small or scale fast. Their clients include tech and non-tech founders, as well as Fortune 500 companies. So thank you for joining me today, Todd.
Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Go Bills.
That's right. We're finally doing good, so let's give them the platform they need right now. So to start us off, I really want you to kind of share with our viewers a little bit about yourself and your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, my wife and I actually started the entrepreneurial journey together, and it was started when my brother-in-law passed away from a drug and alcohol addiction. And we wanted to do something in his name to make a difference. And ironically, we were able to start a business called Bellatuno. And from there, we've kind of become serial entrepreneurs. She still runs that company and has grown from that point. A lot of times people talk to me, well, how did you make the leap from kind of corporate America? I really was never really in corporate America. I was always with startups as I went through. But my wife and I made a commitment, not knowing this was the direction we were going to do, to kind of try to live debt-free, or at least on one salary. So when her brother ended up passing away, she was able to quit her job. We were able to still feed the family and do all that stuff. But we were able to also start a business because we were not financially constrained. And I think too often people want to start something, but they feel kind of the handcuffs of the financial constraint of, I can't do this because I need to do X, Y, Z or pay for X, Y, Z. So that was kind of the beginning of our entrepreneurial journey. And it's been a great journey from there. And we haven't looked back, and we continue to still live on one salary. And it's allowed us to kind of both launch businesses through that journey.
Wow, that's really impressive. And can I say that if my husband and I ever went into entrepreneurship together, we'd probably likely end up in divorce. So kudos to you guys.
Well, there's a reason why I'm not at Bellatuno anymore too. So I think we decided that she was a lot smarter than me, and we wanted to have a long-lasting relationship. So I retired from Bellatuno and went and started something else.
Wow, that's great. But something you touched on about kind of the financial aspect of getting kind of your startup going and moving. I know that's something you're really passionate about. And I would love for you to tell me a little bit more about why this is something that's so valuable to you, and why it should be valuable to other entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah, so the entrepreneurial journey in general is quite risky, as many know. So I'm a big believer if you can minimize your risk. In my case, it was financial. If you can minimize that risk, you're going to be willing to take the risk. In my case, follow the dream to become an entrepreneur. I always joke. I feel like scared money. I've always lost when I've been scared of money. And when I have no fear is when I usually win. And so like with my wife and I, like I said, we really had nothing to lose. So when we started Bellatuno, we said, okay, we have $6,000. Let's see what happens. And we went through that. She started to scale. We needed to build a website. We didn't have the money to do that. One of my friends built websites, and specifically an e-commerce site. I went one weekend and landscaped his backyard in exchange for an e-commerce site. And there we go, and we just figured a way to move and build without incurring a significant amount of debt. I've seen a lot of people that go through the entrepreneurial journey and they try to raise a lot of money at the beginning. And I think the challenge with that is sometimes you don't become very thoughtful with your money, and you just start spending on it and not looking at your return on investment. So if you're a little lean at the beginning, I'm a fan of that, because it makes you do things like go landscape a friend's backyard in order to get an e-commerce site.
Yeah, no, that's great. I really kind of like those little hacks of how to make it work and get a little bit scrappier. Do you have any other insights on how to kind of get a little bit scrappier at that point, for lack of a better word? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people listening who are like, this all sounds great, but it feels impossible. Do you have additional insights on how at the front to kind of get a little bit more resourceful?
Yeah, I mean, on the resourceful side, I mean, I think for me, I think sometimes in my case, you can be too frugal. And I'll give you a good example. So my wife and I, we start Bellatuno, we launch a product. It's a pacifier clip. We didn't know what we had. Next thing we know, we're in Target, Nordstrom, growing very rapidly. But at that point, we really should have flooded the sales channel and the sales market, and we didn't. We ended up not raising money, trying to bootstrap it, and other competitors came in and beat us to the punch. So I think it's a balance. I mean, and I know that's not a tidbit, but it's like, I think you've got to figure out as an entrepreneur, what is my product market fit? When I hit it, I've got to be ready to step on the accelerator. And that could be by going and finding additional money. But until that product market fit, I'm really a believer in being scrappy, trading things. Like I said, like my friend trading the landscaping service for an e-commerce site. There's always people looking to do trades for different things. If you know digital marketing, go trade some digital marketing for a firm, and maybe they can do something for you in return. Maybe it's free legal fees or something like that. So take some of the cost opportunities where you can do a swap. Legal's a good one. Like lawyers are always looking to do swaps on different things. And at the end of the day, they're just spending their time. So well, I'll trade you my time for your time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that approach. And then something else I really wanted to kind of circle back to that you had mentioned is kind of that money mindset, right? When you go in scared and afraid of every penny you spend, it kind of always ends up a little bit riskier, and you always kind of face more failure. But if you go in a little less afraid and just ready to go out there and do what you want to do, the return is so much better. Can you talk a little bit about how you moved through some of those more fearful, risk-averse mindsets?
Yeah, I think for me, it was a mind shift. I think initially I was fearful, but at the end, I started realizing failure is going to happen. If I can learn something from that failure, and I mean, failures, everyone's like, don't use the word failure, it's negative. It doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. Yeah. But if you can use that failure, learn from it and grow, I think that's a win. Also, as an entrepreneur, you're learning things that they can't teach you in an MBA school, that you're going to be able to apply to whatever business you end up, either if that one doesn't work out, into another one. I just got an email from someone today that they had to close their business down. They were really sad. And I said, well, isn't that amazing? Everything you learned and everyone that looked up to you. She's like, people looked up to me. I was like, yes, like, it's not easy to build something. It's not easy to build something. It's not easy to take the risk. And now you don't have that what if, like, well, what if I did this? So as long as you're learning and improving and realizing you don't have the answers to everything, I think that's the way to go down that path.
Yes, no, I love that perspective. It really kind of changes everything and makes what are considered tough times a little bit more rewarding and fulfilling. On that note, can you talk about maybe one of your kind of greatest failures or learning opportunities, we'll call them, instead of failures?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges I had is I went into business with a friend. We're still friends, which is great. But he was going through some tough times at the beginning, at that time, some personal things. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize what was happening. We go into this partnership, we think we're going to launch, we start moving along, and some of his personal challenges happened and derailed where we were going to go. I think it was a blessing because I think the idea was really bad. But, I think when you're going into opportunities, I think when you're partnering with someone, you really at the beginning have to be concrete on who pays for what, how is it split. And I think with me and my friend, like I said, we still have a great relationship, but that was one of the things we went in and didn't define that. So when this personal challenge happened that, was beyond his control, it did create a roadblock that I really learned a ton from that situation on, and really defining a lot of things up front. So when we started DualBoot, the three partners, we all defined everything up front. So if the worst thing were going to happen, like we were prepared for how to solve that, but it was written down in a contract and not on a, on a napkin somewhere.
Right, right. Would you be able to kind of share what some of those definitions that you kind of put into place to make your partnerships work?
Yeah, so I mean, it's things like, okay, if I'm going to put money in, what percentage of the business do I own? If I end up passing away, how does it end up moving forward to either my wife or to the other business partners? What's the financial impact on that?
Yeah.
For us at DualBoot, as we've grown, we've had to put I call it key person. I guess it was key man insurance, but now it's key person insurance in place. Because if one of us was to pass away, unfortunately, the other business partners have to buy out the other business partner. But there's things like that as you go through the cycles that if we don't have written down, and you're in a business with someone passes away, well, who's to say which way or who should get what, so that needs to all be documented on that front. And again, as an entrepreneur on the legal side, I was always skittish at the beginning, like I don't want to pay this, $1,000 or $2,000. Best money we've ever spent is getting that defined and doing it right up front.
Yes. To kind of go back to that topic again of money, I know there are some things that upfront are worth kind of in the investment. This being one of them. What are some other maybe top 2 or 3 things that upfront, if it's worth, if there's a price tag attached to it, would you encourage entrepreneurs? Yes, make that investment up now at the beginning.
Yes. So sales and marketing, 100% sales and marketing is where I tell everyone. At the end of the day, the product that you think is unique is probably unique. You're not unique. There's probably 1,000 of them out there. Your job is to figure out product market fit and sell. I've been involved with a few startups where we had a great product, but no one knew about us. And I didn't realize that until after we sold, and I got to see our competitor products. And I was like, how did we ever lose to them? Well, they knew how to sell and market, and we didn't. So I'm huge on spending money on the sales and marketing side and what makes sense. I'm also a big fan of trying things out for 90 days. I mean, we've done some crazy things at DualBoot. We've tried out a billboard on I-77, didn't work too well. But we tried it, now it's like 90 days in and it doesn't work. All right, let's move on. What did we learn? So breaking things down into 90 and 100-day segments, I'm a big fan of on that, especially on the entrepreneurial journey and getting focused on that front.
Yeah, I learned during my time here at RevTech Labs, being able to act quickly and adjust is so key to the entrepreneurial journey. Not saying I committed to this, I need to stick to it, and saying it's not working, we need to hurry up and pivot.
Absolutely. And I'm Catholic, so I grew up Catholic, so the Catholic guilt always sets in. Like, well, I said I was going to do that, even though it doesn't make sense, I will do it. So. Yep,
I am guilty of that as well, not because of the Catholicism, but because I'm just a huge perfectionist and a little bit of OCD issues on my end.
Yes, but the years of the Bills losing have gotten you to, foresee that.
That's right. Well, if the Bills can win and make it this far, anything is possible. If that is
and the Browns. And the Browns.
Yes. Anything is possible, people.
Yes.
So just to kind of wrap it up, what is kind of your one kind of parting advice to entrepreneurs to kind of help navigate them through a common pitfall and hope that it's a pitfall that you maybe went through and they can avoid?
I would go into mentoring groups or reach out to people that have done it before. One of the things that I've noticed at a lot of the events I attend, usually the loudest people in the room aren't your best people that you want to get advice from. And specifically in entrepreneurs, there's always people in those rooms that are chirping and yelling. And then you're like, wait, have they done anything? No, but they're willing to give me advice. Yeah. Go seek out those people that have actually done it. Get their advice, their support. Where we are in Charlotte is a great community where people are very welcome, warm, and love to give advice. But also at the end of the day, you need to make the right decision. Again, this is only advice that people are giving you. It's not right or wrong. It's their opinion. in my case, my opinion, my opinion is my opinion, and my opinion is right, but it's not necessarily right. And so that's, it can be discouraging. I remember when we started Bellatuno, had a friend that was like, "You can't start Bellatuno, you don't have a business plan." I was like, "Oh my gosh, Michelle, we need a business plan." She's like, "No, we don't need a business plan. Let's move on." And it worked out, right? So if you listen to all the naysayers or the advice, that I don't think anything would ever get started, but you should definitely use it as you're making decisions and use it as a guidance. And at the end of the day, if your gut feels like it's the right way to do it, try it and then move on.
Yes, yeah, no, that's great advice. And I happen to know of this organization. They have a network of 500 plus mentors, RevTech Labs. Maybe you've heard of them.
Yes, absolutely. I love RevTech Labs. Yes, yeah. It's a great organization.
Yes, we are. But we're only as good as our mentors, and you're a huge part of that network. So thank you for all the work that you help us do. You help our entrepreneurs do, and thank you for joining me today and sharing your insights and expertise.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And for anyone who'd like to connect with Todd further, I will provide additional information on how to connect and learn a little bit more about him in the description below. But again, thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
If you're post-revenue, post-launch, fintech, or insurtech founder looking to rapidly scale and grow in 2021, our Class 14 applications are now open. Go to revtechlabs.co to learn more about our fintech and insurtech accelerator and apply today. Thanks for joining us today, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy.